What it mean to be the best? Riding foes, feeling unimpressed. Make me reminisce, throwing bows, bend the corner, set my mind up on a goal. All I know is stay down, bad, I'm the GOAT. Okay, feel like the best, the great. Now there ain't no debate. Yeah. Okay, feel like the best, the great. Now there ain't no debate. Yeah. I ain't gotta say much. Know the boy got a touch. Another win for the rush. Another win for the rush. See me once and got a crush. See you twice and that's enough. Get the ring sized up.
Hello. Welcome in. We are back. Tell the Truth Tuesdays, having a good time. DG, CJ, we are turning the page to 2026 officially as a Super Bowl champion has been crowned in Santa Clara. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks for being able to get the job done. DG, CJ, how did you enjoy watching that Super Bowl that felt like it was a boa constrictor around Drake May and the Patriots offense?
Just wanted to say to all the AFC,
you had your chance.
We still on top.
We still top dog.
Hey, that reminds. So somebody had tweeted out that the at some point in the third quarter, late into the third quarter, that Xavier Worthy was the last person to touch the end zone as far as Super Bowl was concerned because nobody had scored for the team at that point.
Jesus,
yeah,
Lord.
it's just funny. It's crazy. Shout out to the Patriots defense did play well, but shout out to the Seahawks. They were the best team all year long. All three phases were great, and they came out, and you felt early on that they were not just going to be able to let Drake May operate. It felt like they knew where they had to beat as far as getting after the blitzes. Their offensive line, they were whooping Will Campbell and honestly Jared Wilson too, as far as that was concerned. And they had themselves a really good game. And Sam Darnold took care of the football. Kenneth Walker ran the ball very well. Ran himself into what will be a very lucrative contract to stay in Seattle, almost assuredly in the offseason, and well-deserved Super Bowl MVP as well. So shout out to Mike McDonald and the Seattle Seahawks, man.
Yeah, I watched the whole game, and I was like, we can forget about Kenneth Walker being the chief. Yeah, there ain't no way they let him get up out of there.
At all.
But yeah, man, straight belt from first quarter to fourth quarter. It was bad. You know what the crazy part is? Like I said before the game, I thought, we got a blowout last year. I was like, usually when that happens, we get a pretty good game the next time around. I was completely wrong. that was
straight belt,
utter domination by the Seattle Seahawks. Mike McDonald, shout out to him, man. He had Drake May in care. Like, he literally put him in a jail cell and he was rattled. Will Campbell was rattled. Their offensive line was rattled. The Patriots just never got, their feet on the ground, and it just seemed like from jump start, it was bad. Man. It was bad. Defensive masterclass from Mike McDonald.
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. CJ, how'd you feel about watching it?
Bored as hell. From the jump, I knew it was a mismatch from the jump. Seattle was supposed to win that game. I said they were going to win comfortably. They did. Never really put any stress on the game, honestly. I don't know, outside of that Mac Jones touchdown before that play, I don't think New England crossed the 50 once before that play, or those two explosive he threw to Mac Hollins, sorry. But outside of that, it was really a pretty much dominant game by Mike McDonald. He built that defense and the front office, the GM, from front to back. They had multiple guys up front with multiple sacks. Linebackers flew around. Every time they threw the ball, it felt like an incompletion. Drake May was hesitant on every decision he made, and they made a young quarterback look young. So it wasn't really nothing surprising. So if you were a Seahawks fan, I guess, and they were thinking, God, they didn't have to see the Chiefs or anyone else coming out of the AFC, because usually it was kind of funny seeing a lot of Niners fans and everybody else in the NFC saying that the one time Seattle gets to the Super Bowl, they get to see a young quarterback, a team that's not really necessarily prepared because Patriots were ahead of schedule and not supposed to win the Super Bowl this year or even be there in the first place. So, no, it was a dominant performance by Seattle. They did their job. They went up. They were one of the best defenses in the league all year. They played like it, dominated from start to finish. Kenneth Walker definitely was going to get paid. I never thought he'd believe it even before the playoffs started, just because Charbonnet and him are been such a good combo. And then Charbonnet going down with the knee injury just confirmed they're going to pay him whatever to keep him there. But no, shout out to Sam Darnold. I think that's the biggest storyline of the whole game because New England didn't really give us anything really to watch. But as far as Sam Darnold, the kid being on his 15, man, up and down all around the league and bounced from city to city, from where? From New York to Carolina, Minnesota, or San Fran, Carolina, Minnesota. So been everywhere to finally find a home in Seattle and be a Super Bowl champion your first year there. You can't write a better comeback story than that. So shout out to Sam for being resilient, going out there and not really being anything spectacular, just doing his job, making throws when he had to. He did an amazing job of evading pressure. That was one thing I was definitely excited to see from, because usually when he gets hit or he sees simulated pressure, he starts to, second guess himself, throw the ball a little early, stop throwing anticipation, and usually starts seeing ghosts, like the old Sam Darnold saying. But he didn't do that on Sunday, man. He dominated. When he needed to move the ball with his legs, he did it. Evaded pressure multiple times in New England. I know they were super frustrated because every time they blitzed Drake May, it was either a sack or an incompletion, almost every time. So, no, it's a hell of a job by him and Clint Kubiak. Shout out to the Seahawks for going there and getting their lick back, getting their revenge, and they got 2 Super Bowl rings now up in Seattle. So, good for them.
Yeah. Shout out to them and what they were able to accomplish. Trey is happy.
Yeah, man. Sam Darnold made me look like an idiot, man. Shout out to Sam Darnold.
Hey, I didn't believe in Sam neither, brother. You ain't doing
I gotta give him his props.
I stopped down this game. I was like, it is what it is, bro. It's his time.
I thought that he played great in the NFC Championship game, and then ultimately in the Super Bowl, like you said, he took care of the ball. He avoided mistakes, the ability, really that pocket movement. I thought was the best thing that he did all night. To be perfectly honest,
I ain't never seen.
He was under pressure. They were able to create some pressure on him, but he was able to get out of the way of those things and ultimately deliver the football. And I thought he did a good enough job. Could have been a bigger day. He just overthrew Shaheed on that one long bomb just by a little bit. I thought he was late on JSN coming across the middle of that Gonzo PBU right before half. That was a really good play by Gonzo to recover as well. And then he missed JSN on a little broken play where he scrambled out of it and just left a little bit long. But all things considered, a good performance by him for the Seahawks to win. And that will take us into the first topic, which is to talk about that Seattle Seahawks team and what can the Chiefs kind of take away from the success as far as the Seahawks are concerned. I think that the one preface is that you're going to see a lot of teams, and it happens every single year after somebody wins. Every single team will be like, oh, can we replicate this X, Y, Z as far as the team is concerned? That's not necessarily going to be realistic for every team. It's not going to be realistic for almost every team because it's very difficult to just replicate the success as far as that aspect. But from you guys' perspective, if there's one thing that stands out to you that Seattle did that you want to see the Chiefs do, what really strikes you as far as that is concerned?
It never hurts to have multiple pass rushers.
No, am I saying you never have enough?
Multiple. Yeah.
Like, you never have enough of them. 4, 5, 6. Bring them in waves.
Yeah, and different guys too. Like you can
different
have
types of guys specifically.
You can have the power guy, the Marcus Lawrences, the Derek Halls, But then you got to bring in some speed as well too. You got to have a Boyd Mafia. You got to have guys that can collapse the pocket in a different way for you. Or whatever. The combination of what they have from that defensive line to that secondary is something that I really feel like the Chiefs can really replicate if they just go out and stop buying into, measurements and arm length and all these other things that come to defensive line. So throw all that stuff out the window, bro. Like that stuff doesn't matter. That's not the game now. The game is changing. You're clearly seeing that. If you can get to the quarterback a lot quicker, you can be a lot more disruptive. You can cause a lot more havoc. And that's ultimately what Seattle was able to do. They didn't blitz a lot. I would love to see the blitz numbers from them. I know they didn't feel like they had to blitz Drake May like that. They won with 4, they hung back. They literally let their secondary do what it needs to do, and was the results. So
it was a classic mismatch. Honestly, it's kind of remind me of that year when but Denver played Carolina. Obviously, Cam was having an MVP type year, but those receivers just were outmatched. Like that year when you had Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, they didn't need to blitz. They just straight rush 4 all the time. And obviously they had the no-fly zone on the back end to just cover everything. When you're dropping 7, more often times than not, you're going to have a good day defensively. So, no, DG's right. Like, we were top 5 in the league in sacks 3 years ago. coming off our 22-23 season. So we've seen what it's like to have one of the better pass rushers in the league. And obviously we had guys like Frank Clark in the building at that time. But you've got to have guys that can win off the edge with speed. It's non-negotiable. Playing with power is great. That's good for setting the edge and stopping the run. But if you want to get guys on the ground like a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, or a Jalen Hurts, who guys you're going to have to see in the playoffs, you have to have speed on the edge. So every team you've played has speed rushers, and from our playoff run to where we get to this point. So it's obvious as everybody knows, and everybody's doing their mocks, everybody's talking about players we need. If, like DG said earlier, if Spags doesn't make that change this year, we need to have serious conversations, because there's no way you watch everything this season, the way our defense played, the way these other defenses have played, exclamation point being the Super Bowl, and decide we have to just keep doing what we're doing. If you don't make serious change now, you're never going to do it. So this is a very, very big offseason for sure, because the Chiefs definitely need to look, like I said all season, you got to look yourself in the mirror, bro. I don't mind you making a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't care about that part. I care about what you do to correct it. I don't want you to come back in the year and doing the same exact thing. That's the part that pisses me off the most. So if we truly make change and do the things they need to do, I think we'll be in a position to compete again. But we'll see what those decisions they make coming up in free agency, coming up in the draft, and we'll see if they really committed to make that change.
Yeah, and look, when you blitz only 7 times to get the amount of pressure that they got on Drake May, that's a testament to what you had to do.
That's literally 2 a quarter, if that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things Mike McDonald, did an excellent job at understanding what the weaknesses were in the pass protection scheme, but also being able to take advantage of it the way that they certainly did. And the thing that I would say, the biggest thing I would say, is that also you could see if you don't have to blitz, it matters so much more to when you do blitz and it being as effective as it did.
A lot easier.
Yeah, I mean the first blitz from Witherspoon comes off the edge free because they just aren't anticipating it off the slot, and then the next 2 blitzes from Witherspoon are off the right side because they're sliding to the left to help out Jared Wilson and Will Campbell, because those guys are getting beat by 4 so consistently throughout the night that they have to overcompensate for that. So we've seen what Spags can do with his blitzes, but ultimately, as you obviously saw this entire season with the Chiefs defense, it only matters you can get home with 4, because that's what sets up everything else to be able to be effective. So certainly less to take away. I would say on the offensive side, I would not. I don't know if I have a big takeaway. I would just say you can point out the way that they run the ball, and that was certainly big time helpful, especially when you look at some of the play action stuff that they did. But I think that the way that they use the passing game to continue to stay ahead of the sticks with some easy button answers, I would say for Sam Darnold is something to also be taken away. There wasn't a lot that was ultimately asked of Sam Darnold to do excessively great things. He just had to be able to deliver the ball on some reasonable concepts. And I think there needs to be a level of help that is given to Patrick Mahomes and not allowing or not forcing him to do so many things outside the structure. But we've talked on that continuously as far as that's concerned. Anything else you got to add as far as lessons from the Seahawks?
Yeah, they let the receivers be receivers.
Yeah, that helps.
Like, it's plain and simple, bro. Like, just let the guys do what they do best. They let JSN does what he does best. He can play literally every spot, every receiver, the X, the Z, the Y. Wherever you really want to put them in the backfield, it doesn't matter. Like,
that was a wide receiver 2 in college, since apparently that the disqualifying factor for being a good first round wide receiver.
Right.
He was a slot only receiver at Ohio State. Look at him now.
Then you get your short yardage kind of tough guy, over the middle in Cooper Kupp or whatever. And
every catch he had was short. It seems like hitch, sit ball.
You didn't need a star tight end, and AJ Barner was able to do his job as well too. Like, it's simple, man. Good run game. Let your receivers be the receivers, and protect your quarterback.
Nothing in that offense was spectacular. To DG's point, everything was very simple. I mean, Kenneth Walker had an amazing day. Don't try.
Kenneth Walker individually, I would say, elevated some things with some of the things that he was able to seek out as far as his vision and then the burst. And look, we know
his patience was amazing. Like,
patience.
I know they were.
The fact that he had a Le'Veon Bell running.
That's what I'm saying. The Lev Bell little hesitation.
Yeah, but the patience is also a big piece of outside zone specifically.
Exactly. When you run it so much.
And literally the 2 biggest plays that come to mind from the passing game are because of the outside zone. The first one on the first drive of the game, they run a fake reverse off of the outside zone, and that gets Kupp on the corner route coming back the other way, and Sam Darnold makes a really good throw on that. And then the touchdown, AJ Barner comes on the motion pre-snap. They run the outside zone that way, and he just kind of sits, fakes like he's going to block, and sneaks out like
simple
right past the
football.
linebackers.
It's not hard. That's why I get so mad the way our offense was ran this season, because it's almost like the simplified version of our offense. We run that when we have a backup quarterback in, like Chad Henne or Matt Moore. I'm like, why can't you just simplify the things for Pat? I know he can do a lot of the difficult things, and I understand he's that good. But to sit and tell your quarterback, hey, we're going to play out of shotgun every week, that's not helping anyone. It literally does nothing to your offense. So it's literally like DG just said, outside of AJ Barner's touchdown, their passing game was very basic. It was boots, it was deep overs, DG. It was a couple comebacks. It was some ball routes, some hitches from Cooper Kupp in the slot. Kenny Walker had an amazing game running the football. Nothing they did was out of the ordinary that no other offense can recreate. We have all the receivers to run the deep overs in Rasheed. We have the guys to run the deep outs and the comebacks in Worthy. If God willing, if we bring back Taekwon, you have your deep shot guy. If you want to replace him in the draft, I'm fine with that. You have the guys to do everything you want to do. We all know we need to upgrade our running back room. That's the obvious. But running a zone scheme and booting off of that to give yourself easy open opportunities for guys to get open in the flat. Literally, you're running level concepts every time you do something like that. A short route, a medium, and a deep shot. That's literally what you're doing every time you're booting. So, and Sam Darnold didn't make any spectacular. The best throw of the night was probably the one to Barner. Honestly, the one that he would have been amazing if it had been completed. But that was a hell of a play by Gonzo. He made 2 elite plays all night. But it's just football's not hard, like DG said. It's not complicated. It's harder if you make it difficult. It can be, but football's not a difficult game. I'm not trying to say we know more, but football's a very simple game if you let it be simple.
They play on both sides, really all three phases. They play fundamental, smart football that allows them to be physical, and then also allows their talent to do the things that they know best and put themselves in positions to succeed. And that's really the big thing about it. And you know, I want a better showing, I would say, from the Chiefs coaching staff. And obviously there are roster upgrades that need to be made, but I want a better showing from the Chiefs coaching staff this upcoming season, being able to showcase that as far as that's concerned. Because this team has more talent than it showed last year. I think that it let that talent down in a lot of respects as well. But yeah, that's really it. I will ask on this. There's also lessons to be learned, obviously, in losing as well. Do you have any lessons from the Patriots side as far as that's concerned?
Gotta protect Drake May, man.
Sometimes, and I think we learned this lesson as well too. You can think you got the guy in tackle. Sometimes he's just the guard, man. Like Will Campbell, especially as a prospect coming out. I like his swag. I like this toughness, especially, you know, some of the things you heard out of LSU. I think he's a guard. I think we just gotta have to chalk it up that he probably needs to move into the inside, because he was getting.
He could be a really good guard too.
Yeah, I think he could be. I think him and Kingsley both have the abilities to be all pro guards in this league. But man, you just got to realize now it's not going to work. So I think the Patriots will obviously be looking for a tackle spot somewhere in the near future coming up. I also think second year, man, sometimes the moment is just too big. It's just the lights is bright. It just seemed like for Drake May, that moment was just way too much. You know, and I know he had a great year. I think a lot of times you have to chalk it up to your schedule is what your schedule is. And I know a lot of Patriots fans hate hearing it, but you play
this
the
year
third place
is actually
schedule,
true,
man. It's true, man. Like you play the third place schedule. You beat a backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game with a game that the snow, you know, the elements obviously played a factor into it. And I think you just got to that moment of you play a better team and it's just a better team that day, you know. But I think what the Chiefs, what they obviously can learn from them is just you got to be able to draft really well, not make mistakes in the draft, you know, and sometimes own up to your mistake. I think the Chiefs have learned that lesson, as well too, especially with Kingsley and moving him from tackle to guard or whatever. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think the biggest thing is having your cornerstone pieces are obviously your quarterback. They got that right. Obviously, the next one being pass rusher and left tackle. Those are the two areas that they definitely needed help in. You can see that because Kenny Walker really did whatever he wanted. Every time they tried to set the edge, he just bounced it out almost every time. That was very shocking to see because the Patriots' run defense has been pretty good this year. And then, like you said, the hardest thing to find in football outside of quarterback is the left tackle position. That just watching, and I hate seeing, I don't want to see Will Campbell get slammed on and ragged on like he did on the timeline, but seeing him struggle just made me so much more happy that we took Josh Simmons. And we all knew he was the best tackle in the draft, so it wasn't like it was anything shocking to see the way he played. But the fact that Josh Simmons was healthy this year and he played like an all-pro tackle before, we all know the personal issues, the wrist injury, and cut the season short, it just took such a weight off my shoulders. Because this time last year, I was like, bro, I don't know who's going to block for Pat for the next 10 years. We have that guy now. And like DG said, we were able to find our left guard who played extremely well beyond any of our expectations of how Kingsley was going to play this year. He exceeded all of those for me. I thought if anyone would struggle, it would have been him. And he was the least guy I was worried about on the O-line this year. So the fact that we're going into a situation, we finally have made it through the Jawan Taylor storm. We have our two all-pro guys, and obviously Creed and Trey. Josh and Kingsley are going to be here for a very long time. I am very pleased the way the O-line is looking for the next 4 to 5 years. So I'm extremely relieved, happy. Definitely have some more work to do. The offense is not done by any means, but the 3 biggest points, I think, when building a roster: find your quarterback, we've done that. Find your left tackle, we've done that. Now the next thing on my list is find a pass rusher. I think that's our biggest opportunity, given that Chris Jones is obviously 31 now. He's getting up there. He's on the back end of his career, and we need to find the next guy that's going to get to the quarterback. We need a 10-plus sack guy. So that's my biggest takeaway is you have to sack the quarterback. Seattle did it all night. Send pressures, rush 4 in waves. Brian Murphy, Leonard Williams, Mafe, any of the guys they blitz, DeMarcus Lawrence, they just multiple guys that get there. And when you haven't, and I've always said you can never have enough rushers. So Ashton Gelati, obviously George is going to have a big year coming up. We need to see him step up this year. The biggest thing is, man, we need to get those guys help. So speed is the name of the game. So I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. And obviously as a New England fan, they've done a lot of winning. But when you're in year 2, it's hard to get back. You don't ever want to say it's easy because we saw that with the Bengals. But when you build your team the right way, it lets you know you can build confidence in getting ready for that moment. Because when you play under the lights, it's different than playing in the regular season. And New England learned that on Sunday. So had an easy schedule. We'll see what they do when they have obviously a first-place schedule because they won their division and got a top seed in the AFC next year. But overall, the biggest takeaway for me is, man, is just you have to get those corner pieces. And I think we've done a good job of building around them. But now we have to move off the quote-unquote Dorsey guys like Kelce, Chris Jones, obviously Tyreek and all those guys. Now we got to find Beach's guys for the next 5 years. So, and I think he's done a great job to start, but this is probably his biggest offseason because now we have to really figure out who are going to be our cornerstone pieces for the next 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So with that being said, like I said, we're turning the page. We got a little bit of interesting kind of smoke as far as maybe regarding a Travis Kelce return. And there's not really anything necessarily to comment on. It's just that there's rumors flying around that it seems like Travis Kelce maybe is leaning towards coming back than staying. Obviously, nothing really to comment on beyond that, and we are still going to wait on what that decision is going to be made. He made it pretty clear that he wants to be able to make it in time for the Chiefs to make offseason plans. So, mid-March is the beginning of free agency. Hopefully, something before then. Obviously, the franchise tag window opens. I believe the day after Sunday is that the franchise tag window opening, and we did get some rumblings that George Pickens getting franchise tag. Not necessarily a surprise there either, but that is something to keep in mind. So we'll see as far as Travis Kelce is concerned. Before we get into it nitty gritty, I do want to ask you guys this: as the pages turn and we're seeing all of the Super Bowl odds and power rankings, way too early stuff. Obviously, nothing as far as the offseason is concerned. I did want to kind of check your temperature for you guys and then kind of check it at various points throughout the offseason, like now, before the draft, and then before you get to actual training camp. Where's your level of confidence 1 to 10 as far as the Chiefs returning to championship contender status? Not necessarily just playoffs or win the division, like legitimate championship contender status next year.
This is before the draft and everything. So
yeah, just right now.
Yeah.
Where's your level of confidence?
like a 6. Because I know we're going to compete, but you're talking about winning championships. If we want to continue to win Super Bowls, we have to make real change in all the things we've said. So, given the fact we haven't seen free agency or the draft, I'll give them like a 6 now. If they do the things we want them to do in the offseason to construct the roster properly, my confidence will be at a 9 or 8. But for now, I'm going to say a 6 because it's kind of like a wait and see. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, I'd probably have to say it's probably 5, maybe. I'm not doubting, or anything like that.
Just want to see.
I have to see what they end up doing. It's so hard to keep that level of success. That's why I tell people now, like the Chiefs, growing up as a Chiefs man, the Chiefs don't want me anything right now. Like,
boy,
they've done everything that I ever could imagine and wish.
After that first one, I was good. Sir.
Yeah. So, but at this point, I mean, obviously, you want to continue to keep. I obviously want them to continue to keep being competitive, continue to keep having a shot to win year in and year out. Yeah, just 5. Like, it's a 5. Just show me. Go out there and make the right moves, which I'm confident in Veach and his staff to find the players that they feel like will help make a change in this organization. My doubts come from the coaching staff. Will they be the ones to play the players that are picked that they get? So
yeah, I mean, I would probably put mine at a 4 right now, and I know that's going to sound low, but I just, because the offensive coordinator hire did not inspire a lot of confidence, because again, like you said, we haven't seen anything as far as the offseason changes are concerned. I don't know. So I don't know ultimately where I'll end up by the time we get to training camp or after we see offseason moves or whatever. I'll be interested to see. But I think that there are specific scheme changes that need to happen, and I think that there are a lot of talent upgrades that need to happen. And I guess technically we'll only find out about one of those things before we get to training camp. But that's just where I'm kind of at with it right now. It's not saying that can't happen, but that's where I would put it for me personally. With that being said, we'll go ahead and do this just because I think it's a good primer. We're going to be doing the Choose Your Own Offseason coming up here over the next 2 shows. We have 2 shows in between now and basically the combine. So we'll be doing 2 next week, and then we'll do it a third here right before the combine, in addition to our combine preview. But I did want to just do this real quick with everybody. I wonder if we can come to some level of consensus as far as who do we want to say is cut candidates or cut cap casualties, however you want to put it, for the team this upcoming season. I think we can pretty safely say that Jawan Taylor is obviously going to be one of them. It's pretty obvious. I still think that there's somewhat of a chance that you can maybe dangle him out there for like a 6th or a 7th round pick. I don't know if that's necessarily possible, but we'll see. I don't even know if they would, bother trying to explore that possibility either, but I don't know for sure. But outside of that, I mean, as we go down the list here, I'll just start asking you guys. I mean, some people have floated the idea of cutting Jalen Moore. I wouldn't personally. I think that Jalen Moore is a person that I would have compete, for the right tackle situation. And if he ends up being a backup, then that's fine with me as well. I assume you guys feel the same way.
Yeah. I don't understand why you would even think about doing it. So I don't know. I wouldn't do it. That's my opinion. You gotta keep.
Jawan Taylor is a $7 million cap casualty after June 1st, so I'm definitely getting rid of him for sure.
Yeah. And then the next one. Well, CJ was not listening. I asked about Jalen Moore, not Jawan Taylor.
Oh, my fault. I thought I heard you say Jawan. My fault. Oh, Jalen. Yeah. Oh no, Jalen's staying. Yeah. I'm keeping him. We only got him. He's on a 2-year deal. Yeah, so he got 1 year left. The money, the ATM's a lot. I don't like that part, but if we wanted to extend him, that'd be great. But I'm definitely not cutting him. Hell no. I'm keeping Jalen.
Yep. Next one, Christian Fulton would be the next guy up. Obviously, I did not contribute much to this team. Certainly not while he was, in the hunt as far as that was concerned. However, we saw some flashes for him in the time in which he played after they were necessarily out of it as well. I'm keeping him personally. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
At first I thought he would be a cut guy, just
For
because
sure.
he didn't really get anything out of
He
him.
didn't get to play.
With the Jalen Watson thing and maybe him getting, some good money on the market or whatever, I don't think it's safe to cut Christian Fulton in the middle of a contract. I think you kind of just let him play out that next year, see what happens, see if he can kind of help you on that other side alongside with Trent McDuffie as well and Noah Williams. So I think you have to kind of keep him.
Yeah, I'm keeping Christian Fulton. He played really well, and ironically, the second time he played Denver compared to the first time, and he just threw him out there, which was stupid. But I thought down the stretch he showed that he can be a starting corner in this league. We know he could be because we saw him do it for years in LA with the Chargers. So I think with a full off season, obviously some time to heal and some time to rest, and he even more in tune with the playbook and what Spags likes to do. And I think he can be a full-time outside corner, which will also pay dividends for Noel, which I think played great for us, and allowing Trent to be in the slot. I think Christian Fulton's in line to have a really good year for us to take over that Jalen Watson role. So, yeah, he's a stay for me. I think we should keep him.
No, yeah. I think that, like you said, given the I wouldn't say volatility, but the question marks at the cornerback position, you got to keep him, in my opinion. Next one would be Mike Dana. I'm a pretty easy cut. Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty easy cut there. Next one, Drew. Go ahead.
A bad I gotta kind of get on Veach, man. A bad contract. Man.
That was a bad contract.
Sorry, Veach. It's bad.
Now, unfortunately, this is where we get into the whole Veach versus Spags thing. I don't know what the decision as far as that was concerned and who made it ultimately, but like you said, bad contract to hand out should not have happened. And I understand the role that he played was useful, but it's a role that you can find in so many different ways. And then also the aspect of you didn't necessarily also let him do the things that he was solid enough at, which is rushing from the inside because of the ways that the team ended up getting built out. So, yeah, bad to commit that money to him. And I've talked about it before. And again, we can get into the next guy on this list too. If you had taken the money that Mike Dana and Drew Tranquil ultimately got paid, in that same offseason and given it to Danielle Hunter, you have felt a whole lot better about this defense over the last 2 years. In comparison, of course. So it is what it is. That's where it ended up. Next guy, Drew Tranquil.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I've been on the fence about this one, but I just think at his age, I just don't think it's going to get any better. So just sorry, Drew, I love you, man, but it's business, dog. Like I gotta get younger at that spot, Yeah.
I'm right there with you guys. I mean, I'm not bringing it back. He's not a goodwill linebacker. And he's even worse considering the fact that his weakness lines up with exactly the weakness of Nick Bolton. And Nick Bolton isn't going anywhere. So he's got to go. That's just how it goes. Harrison Butker isn't going anywhere. You also don't save any money by getting rid of him. Here's one that I think is interesting and it's been under talked about. And Noah Gray saved near $4 million by moving on from him. They do have Jared Wiley and Jake Bendisu under contract. And then the Travis Kelce of it all obviously can change this from this perspective. How do you guys feel about Noah Gray?
He's a tight end too, so I'm not really expecting a whole jump from him, especially if Trav comes back. I think he's been solid in his role. This is probably his worst year of his tenure since he's been here. Not really super excited about the number, obviously. $7 million is kind of high for a guy that he's not going to get you 40, 50 catches. He's not going to score 5 touchdowns. He's kind of just utility guy. Plays fullback, H-back when you need to, does his job. Secure blanket when Pat needs him. So you need guys like that. But to DMac's point, you do have guys in the waiting, JB, Jared Wiley. So if they decide to move on from Noah, I really wouldn't be mad or shed a tear. I hate to see him go because I love him as a person and as a player, but from a business standpoint, you can move on from Noah and be perfectly fine. You don't need to keep him, but I do like him for the locker room. He's a good guy. Everybody likes him. He does what he's usually in the right position, does his job. So, but $7 million is a lot of money. So I would get it if they wanted to move on from him, but I don't think they will. So I think he stays. I'm kind of indifferent on it. Keep or move on from him. So.
Yeah, I think he's a good glue guy. Sometimes you just need those guys around. But But then again, that number's kind of high for a glue guy.
$7 million is a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie.
If it boils down and Veach comes just out and says it's just business, I understand it. But I don't know if they're willing to move off of Noah just yet.
I don't think they are. He is 27. He's getting up there. This is year 5 for him. So
for now, I'll leave him out. But I'll be honest with you, if I knew Travis Kelce was coming back, I would cut Noah Gray.
I wouldn't be mad at you, bro. Not at all.
I think that they need to go out and specifically target a veteran tight end too that has more blocking ability. And obviously looking at tight end as far as the draft is concerned, because perfectly honest, I think you can get kind of similar things that Noah Gray brings to the table out of Jake Brenningstool if you just asked him to do so.
I agree. Or Jared Wiley. I agree.
Or Jared Wiley for that matter. And I think you could find that out as far as the competition was concerned in training camp. So that is how I feel about it. But for right, I don't think they'll do it. So
I don't think they will either.
Leave that as it is. I think
Jamari Connor cut him.
Well, I mean,
what you mean?
Shamar Connor.
What you mean? What you mean?
I would love to, but they're not.
I don't care.
Shamar Connor is a similar conversation.
DMac.
The one thing
I don't care.
I understand. The one thing I'll say is this: I think it's very similar to Noah Gray. That I don't think that they'll do it. And I think it's even
they need to
worse in a sense than Noah Gray because they have less safety depth because Najee Johnson's a free agent. Obviously, we know Brian Cook's a free agent. It's Jaden Hicks, who they didn't seem like they trusted at a certain point as far as that is concerned. So they almost have to keep Shamari Connor as far as
get him off my team. I don't care. Pay him.
I know you want him off the team, but I don't think it's realistic to say that he's going to be off the team.
DMac.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him play football again. I swear to God.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
He ain't, but I'm just being Delulu right now. I'm sorry. Fuck, bro. He get on my. I don't even like doing like that, bro. I'll pack his bag myself, bro. Get him off my team, bro. He's so annoying.
I think Wanye is a cut.
Yeah, I was going through. So everybody
sure.
else, you're getting down to some non-50 top 51 guys that go through the offseason. So this is pretty much the last one as far as that is concerned. Because FAU, you don't even save any money. I'm sure that they'll.
Wanye is like 1.7 DG, so it's
but I think that Wanye legitimately could be a cut candidate because 1.5 million is 1.5 million. You can use that elsewhere. And ultimately, I think that when you're talking about the tackles on this team, you obviously know Josh and Jalen are right now kind of penciled in the 1-2. But you did, in my opinion, see some good things out of Esapole, obviously. It saw some good things out of Drew Godric to the point where I would be comfortable moving on from Wanye Morris, saving that a little bit of money there on the edge and saying, hey,
I'm cool.
We'll go into the offseason what it looks like. But I would be getting rid of Wanye Morris as well, too.
So far, after all the moves we made, we are still $24 million in the hole, but it's better than the 53 we were at before we started.
That is true. Yeah. So after cutting Juwan Taylor, Mike Dana, Drew Tranquil, and Wanye Morris, that does leave you with about $18 million in the hole as far as OTC is concerned. And of course, that before doing any restructures, which we can talk about. I'll talk about it, I guess, first when I do my choose your own offseason, but you guys will as well during your own scenarios, how you would do the restructures and the such. So just want to see if we can come to a little bit of consensus as far as who we feel like is going to end up getting cut off the team as we get closer to the offseason. As a result, the first part of the offseason is really going to come as far as the Combine, which is coming up in 2 weeks. But we did have the College All-Star Bowl season with the Shrine and Senior Bowl that had some of the nation's top prospects respectively, I should say. And I did want to ask you guys kind of who was the standout. So DG, CJ, give me your offensive standout from either the Shrine or the Senior Bowl.
From the Senior Bowl, what was the bro's name? Anthony Vincent, the DN from Duke.
CJ did not listening once again.
What'd you say? You said
I said offense.
Offensive shit. My fault. I heard you. Just you stand up. I heard stand up. My fault. Offensive. That game's kind of big. I ain't gonna lie. Probably Jamari Taylor, running back, Virginia. Okay. He looks solid. I got more offensive standouts. They look good better in practice because offense don't really get any
you talk about it in practice too.
Yeah, Tyree Montgomery. He was a standout for me that way. He looked really good as far as beating one-on-ones. He looks like a guy that he kind of looked like Rasheed a little bit. Right, beating guys over the middle of the field, catching the ball downfield in contested catching areas. As far as really weapon-wise, there weren't really too many guys. I let the defense.
For the record, for those that I do want to say, for those that may not know, Tyron Montgomery did go to John Carroll University, D3 college, but he is somebody that played very well at the Senior Bowl and practiced very well.
He was low-key the best receiver at practice.
Yeah, so he went to JUCO, et cetera, et cetera. There will be some things for him that will pick up as far as draft season is concerned. A good mid-round target at the wide receiver position. I'm sorry. CJ, you got anybody else? And DG, you can hop in afterwards as well.
Offense, no. All my standouts were on defense for real. I didn't really see too much on offense.
Did you?
Yeah. Offensively, just from the practice reps in the Senior Bowl, Malachi Fields.
Yeah.
I thought he got a lot of good practice reps, big body receiver, contested catch kind of guy. I think some of the Chiefs fans have kind of been clamoring for the last couple of years. So wouldn't be mad if he was one of the mid-round picks for them if they wanted to go and get another receiving weapon or whatever. I think it kind of play a little bit of like that power slot if they want it, or whatever. But
I think he's got a little bit of deep ball to his game than necessarily other people maybe feel like it. Like I thought that he can get to all three levels in my personal opinion as well. I actually thought because of his frame, he actually showed me better short area quickness and route running than I expected. I have to be perfectly honest with
Yeah.
you.
Malachi Fields definitely would be my offensive guy or whatever. Would not be mad at that option if that's where the Chiefs wanted to go in the mid rounds or whatever. Just get another kind of big body contested catch coming back. Definitely had himself a pretty good day out there. I'll also mention this for CJ standout. Jamari Taylor had himself a pretty good game. I'd say so as far as that is concerned. And then I'll mention my other standout, but he had this really good run. Took the guy off. I think that was Hunter in the backfield there. It was a pretty impressive run for Jamari Taylor, and I thought that he showed some pretty good bursts. He was the ACC's leading rusher out of Virginia, and is somebody that's certainly going to be interesting. And again, a little bit more into the day 3 targets for a running back position. It's kind of tough to find some of those gems as far as this class is concerned. It's not necessarily as deep a class as it was last year, but I thought Jamari Taylor was certainly put himself well as far as that was concerned. And then another guy, similar in that very same backfield for me, Jay Knott, I thought was really good at Oklahoma. It is funny, he was a guy that had a lot of steam coming off of what was a really good sophomore year for him, and then he went to Oklahoma and didn't do anything. They just did not use him. And I put him in an early mock draft, and people were like, "Why are you drafting Jay Knott? He didn't do anything." Well, yeah, but I saw him his sophomore year, and he looked really good. He looked really good, and he showed up here in Mobile and was absolutely dominating as far as that was concerned, and ran pretty well in the Senior Bowl. So. I think that he's got a shot again to try and get into some draft boards, but another day 3 target at the running back position that I think ultimately will make a lot of sense as well. And then the other two, Nick Bowechter, tight end out of Texas A&M, a really good blocker at the tight end position, which I think is a skill set that we desperately need and something that I'd be targeting, certainly as far as day 3 tight ends are concerned, but also showed some really good receiving chops as far as the Senior Bowl is concerned. And then Max, and I haven't figured out how to say his last name, Arizona State tackle, but it seems like he's going to be a little bit earlier than I'd be comfortable taking a tackle, but he's going to be a day 2 guy to keep your eyes out for, I should say. Defensive side of the ball, your standouts for the Shriner Senior Bowl. One of mine's from the Shrine Bowl, Cole Wisniewski, safety out of Texas Tech, man. I like what I've seen. He's tough. Versatility, man, can play down in the box if you want him to. Great tackler, good ball instincts, shows good coverage ability. There was one rep where he had in practice where they were working on running that what do they call it, like a whip or a zig route or whatever. And he was no chance with him at all. He knew it was coming. Played with great patience or whatever. Leadership as well too, man. Only thing I think that's gonna obviously hold him back from being one of the higher picks at safety is just the injury history that he has. He's missed some games and things of that nature. So I think missed a season where he injured his foot or something like that, missed a full season. But guy who started off in North Dakota State, had to work his way up. Finally got to Texas Tech and ended up shining there. 6'4", so bigger safety as well too. I liked everything I've seen from Cole Smith, and I think that he can come into a Spags type of defense and really be a good tandem with a guy like Jaden Hicks as well, especially with the coverage ability that he has.
It's a good week for the safety to say the least. CJ, what about you as far as the defensive standouts?
Yeah, definitely. I've been trying to focus on the positions we need the most. So running back and edge, obviously. Anthony Vincent, the kid out of Duke, definitely shocked me. He had more burst than I thought he would. He had decent size. I think he was like 6'4", 6'5". Obviously, he was playing a lot of guys he's used to playing in the conference in the ACC. But obviously, he looks like a Spags guy. Got the arm length, got the body type. So it looks like a guy that Spags would definitely be like a day 2 candidate, probably day 3, even if better. But I think he's a guy that can come in and play right away, play with power, has a better bend than I thought he would. And I think I kind of like what I saw from the Senior Bowl. That's what kind of popped my eyes when I saw him, because the body type matched what Spags like, but I didn't know if he really could bend, because we personally need more speed on the edge. So I definitely think that's a guy I'm going to keep my eyes on in the draft for sure, as far as the edge position, because we all know the favorite top 4 or 5 guys. So I was trying to find some guys on day 2, day 3. He's one of the guys I would not be mad at for sure.
Anyone else? I know you said you had multiple guys that you like.
Yeah. Him, obviously, there's the obvious guys, like obviously the Caleb Bankses, Lee Hunters, obviously those guys that dominated. There was another D lineman that I saw at the Shrine Bowl. What's his name? I don't remember. I know he played. Oh yeah, Dante Corleone, big fella at Cincinnati. Another D tackle. I think that could be another. There's a lot of options that we have that I think are available for us. I think it's probably more of a deeper interior class than it is edge class for sure. I think there's a lot of guys that can go out there and dominate, guys that can come in and play right away. But obviously, like Darrell Jackson came in there and dominated from day 1. He's going to be a guy that we can keep our eyes on as well. So we have a lot of options as far as interior, the guys that you can get on day 2. But I think there's a lot of depth in that room. And I'm kind of glad that this is a really good D-line class, because that's what we need, absolutely. So, no, he got off the edge right here. Obviously, used his arm, good dip. I would just attack the football, finish the play, and we like guys that create turnovers. Another thing that we need this year in our defense overall. So I think there's a lot of depth in this D-line group, a lot of guys that we can go after. So every time I've been doing these mocks, I kind of just been trying to be creative and find different guys and see what's the room kind of judging them like, as far as are they early day 2, are they late day 2, are they round 3, round 5, just trying to find value. So, but there's been a lot of guys that I want to watch tape on more, like Albert Regis out of Texas A&M, the big fella. So there's obviously plenty of depth in that room. So I'm excited to see what the D-line does at the combine, because we need it for sure. That's definitely my top priority. My first 2 picks, I would like to go edge and D tackle. So obviously guys like Darrell Jackson, Big Citrus, want to see him as well at Iowa State. A lot of guys, like I said, there's just too many D linemen to name, and there's so many good guys you can find value on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was Vincent Anthony Jr. out of Duke, and a little bit more of a designated pass rusher. In my personal opinion, at least early on, maybe you can add a little bit more to that frame. You remind me a little bit of Alex Okafor, former Chiefs defensive end as well, that I think he'd be a good guy to add to the defensive end rotation. Certainly, if he gets out of day 2 on to day 3 is where I'm a little bit more comfortable with him as well. PMAC did put his standouts in the chat as far as Zion Young. Obviously, Mizzou played very well. Max Unior, Arizona State offensive tackle. Bud Clark was really good as far as TCU was concerned, and certainly made my list as a guy that was a standout. Just when I was watching Davidson, cornerback out of Ohio State, somebody that I've been watching a lot as well. Malachi Fields, as DJ mentioned, and Mike Washington Jr., physical running back as well, did make a mark. As far as defense was concerned, like I said, Bud Clark, VJ Payne, K-State, really long kind of safety prospect, and I like him a little more in coverage, and I think he'd be a good complement to Jaden Hicks as well. And then the other one is Gabe Jackas, who I think is a little bit underrated, Illinois defensive end. He's a guy that is going to go early on day 2, but I don't think he's been talked about a lot as far as why he'll go early on day 2. And he's a guy that I would target at pick 40 if we don't take edge in the first round. I think would make a lot of sense for us. Obviously, that's a Zion Young range as well with Gabe is concerned, but I think that you're talking about a guy that can be a 3-down player, but also bring real speed off the edge and be an impact pass rusher. I think that Gabe does fit that bill as well. So I wanted to give them a shout out. So Again, we'll be talking about more about these prospects as we get further into it, and certainly we'll have a full combine preview of guys for you guys to look out for, and then specifically what we're going to be watching throughout that, what drills you need to be watching for, what testing numbers you're going to be watching for, and then obviously at what positions specifically as well to key in on for the Chiefs to get ready during draft season. I got a quick exercise. I tweeted out these 3 mock drafts of some non-edge or wide receivers in the first round. I just wanted to ask the guys which one of these 3 mock drafts that they like the most. Jeremiah Love, Spencer Frano, right tackle, Caleb Downs kind of being the options as far as that is concerned. Do you guys have and the middle one is a lot of picks, so you can ignore that one if you don't necessarily want to go there. I understand it. But I wanted to go, what would it look like maybe if we went away from necessarily picking a wide receiver or a defensive lineman at the first round, and what it would look like? Which one of these do you guys kind of like?
The right one. Anything.
I can tell you right now, you put that middle one on Twitter, they gonna fry you.
Oh, they did fry me because of all the trades.
Boys traded 1, 2, 3 times.
Yeah, that trades was going crazy. I overdid it with the middle one. I fully admit
Twitter is
they'd be like, bro, who you think you are?
Yeah, I'd probably say the one with Caleb Downs be the one I would probably end up leaning towards. Although I listen, I want people to understand, like, I don't mind them drafting Jeremiah Love.
Just not my preference.
It's just high risk, high reward in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just, there's other guys I like. Like, my hierarchy is still edge D tackle. So obviously, if any of the guys we like fall there, then I would like, if those guys are gone, I'm Caleb Downs after that. And then if the receivers are there, I'm fine with that as well. Then Jeremiah Love. So I don't hate it. It's just not my preference either. And I think that's a solid draft as well. You get another guy, Jalen Kilgore, one of my favorites, VJ Payne, what DMac just stated about him. Malachi Fields is going to be a really good prospect. I think Lee Hunter is going to be a dog in this league for a long time. But the right one is my favorite. You get, obviously, could be the best player in this draft, and Caleb Downs, a future All-Pro, a guy who's going to start for you for 10 years. Get Jamari Connor off the field. Zion Young could come in and be a day one edge for you to help out George, get to the quarterback. Darrell Jackson, him and Omar, oh my Jesus, playing next to Chris Jones. They would never see a double team in their life ever. Evan Johnson is my favorite running back in this class outside of Jeremiah Love. I think he's special. I think he can be an RB1 for years to come. Eric McAllister, one of DMac's favorite guys. He dominated in the Big 12, made a lot of good plays, and then some depth pieces. And then Nate Bork, I'm going to butcher his name. Borchicker? Borchicker. Nate B is what we're going to call him. Nate. And then Josh Moten, another cornerback prospect. So, no, I think all drafts obviously bring value to the team. But I think the right one is the one you kind of hit in all areas. We get an all-pro safety immediately to help us if we lose B. Cook. We get a day one edge with Zion next to George and Chris. Darrell Jackson can rotate in with Omar and make our D-line legit, have that pass rush capability that we need. Emmett Johnson can be that explosive back that we've been dying for, that Eric McAllister can just come in, just step right into this receiver room and give us something that we haven't had as far as the deep catch radius and everything. And obviously get some depth pieces with the other two. So I like the right one the most, if anything.
Yeah. I did pick out a few of the Senior Bowl guys that we mentioned. Obviously, you see him littered throughout this one as well. Nandame Tucker also made some plays off the edge there for Western Michigan as well. And Nate Bokirker was somebody that I mentioned did stand out from Texas A&M. And then Kevin Coleman Jr. was the other guy I wanted to mention who also played, in my opinion, very well. Showed separation ability, and if you get into day 3 and he's still on the board, I like him as in addition to this wide receiver room because he has the return ability, but also he fits a skill set that we kind of need to refresh at the bottom of our wide receiver room too. But I could see somebody talking themselves into him in the 4th or 3rd round, to be perfectly honest with you, as we get closer to the draft. DG, did you have one that you particularly preferred?
Like I said, the one with Caleb Downs. I think that's obviously the one I'll be leaning towards more. I like the depth on the first one as well too, with Malachi Fields, Jalen Kilgore. Just the Jeremiah Love thing I don't know. It's just such a, like you said, a high risk, high reward type of vibe that like if they don't hit on that pick and they whiff and don't get an edge, it's gonna piss a lot of people off.
We're gonna score a lot of points, but we still gonna be
Chiefs YN Twitter will love it, but
2018 all over again.
Yeah, I mean it puts and this is the thing. The only thing that
the offense.
I want, because of and we'll talk about this as we get into the choose your own offseason, the value, in my opinion, or the depth at running back and as we get to the offseason will be very good, in my opinion. And that just seems like something that you can solve in free agency for reasonable money that I just, and then doubling down on it in the first round. It's not necessarily the pathway I would like to choose. Puts a lot of pressure on those next picks to be very good at premium positions, specifically as well. So you get into it. It's kind of, I do like the Caleb Downs one the most personally. And I for those that do not know, Josh Moten out of Southern Miss played corner. He's the type of guy that they like to go after. You play outside specifically. I do like him a lot as far as a day 3 guy. And then I'll mention my other guy, Traden Stukes, at the bottom there out of Arizona. Underrated, in my opinion, specifically for the ability to play in the slot and also do a lot of things from a versatile DB perspective. And I think that he'll be coveted as we get closer to the draft as well. But I like Stukes a lot of Arizona. Arizona has some sneaky players on their team.
I have a if y'all want to. I just sent you one, DMac. If you want to put that one up.
You don't get too many safety prospects like Caleb Downs, man. Like,
man,
the last one you can really think of is Kyle Hamilton.
Bro, besides them two,
that,
even
man, like in this defense,
like day one starters, there's not too many guys that you think that can come in and be impact players.
Then you can really launch Shamari Connor into the stratosphere if you want to.
Oh, bro, kick and punt that boy. Oh God, please.
You could legitimately argue. I was trying to figure out what exactly. Oh, there you go. You can legitimately argue that Caleb Downs is flat out the best player in this.
He could end up being the best player in the draft. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Point blank period. And that is going to have some level of value. And we have this conversation often. You know, the Chiefs not necessarily picking in this area and how much that matters to what you're going to end up choosing. And ultimately, that matters a lot. But it works both ways. You can say you're never going to be able to pick the high end at premium positions as far as defensive end or wide receiver is concerned. But that also means that you may never get a chance to pick a prospect as good as Caleb Downs because they're just simply going to go too early. So which way do you lean as far as that is concerned? This was CJ's mock draft. And
what y'all think?
I love Carnell Tate. And I know a lot of people really love what Jordan Tyson brings to the table. I know a lot of people are really smitten with Mekhi Lemons. I think that he is because he can go deep, because he can play the X, because he can play the Z as well pretty well. He fits exactly what I want as far as a guy that can play outside on the vertical plane, break things off, whether it was comebacks, deep routes. He runs, in my opinion, the post or the corners very well as well. And then he's getting better at the kind of dig routes aspects of it too. So I just like him a lot for what we need specifically to complement Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy too. I love Zion. You mentioned how much I love, why I should say I love Emmett Johnson as well. Talked about Bud Clark and what he did at the Senior Bowl. He's really good. Kyle Lewis, I'm a little bit lower on just for the fit and kind of what he brings to the table aspect.
He can run. That's why I like him.
He can run. But I feel like
he is light.
This is the reason why. Kyle Lewis is essentially what you're looking for out of, at Jeffrey Bassa. And I think you should just let Jeffrey Bassa play in my personal opinion.
I just want to go elsewhere.
I don't blame you at all for it at all. Tacario Davis, again, a little bit of a height, weight, speed guy. I have not seen the Wake Forest tackle at all, and I also cannot say his name, to be perfectly honest with you.
Falili Fayome.
There you go. That's why you got him.
Let's
say DG said something long.
He's like, I got one too. I want
DG. Do you have anything you want to add as far as that mock draft is concerned?
No, I like. I know. I took Carnell Tate in the earlier mock draft that I put on Twitter, and I got just roasted. He sent me to the stratosphere for that one. But no, I love him as a prospect. Legitimate X on the outside. I think something that hasn't had in time. Definitely need. Love the Zion, especially in the second round. I think he can be a solid day one starter for you as well too. Been coming around on Bud Clark as well too. Some of the stuff that he did at Senior Bowl was really impressed with that. And then Tacario Davis has been one of my favorite late round cornerback prospects. Yeah, especially with that amount of size that you would get 6'4". You can't pass up 6'4" in the fifth round. you know, and being able
Like Sean Smith
being a
all
guy,
over again.
yeah, they can be a boundary corner for you. So
Dan,
yeah,
just trust that he's gonna obviously just jumped on Dave Merritt. There it is. It's gonna be able to get the most out of him there.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah, sure.
I mean, that's to kind of give you wiggle room as far as like Christian Fulton or anything, and Noel, and obviously having those guys. And I think if you truly did do this scenario where they took Takario Davis, you could tell Trent, I need you to be like the best slot corner in the league, and we'll pay you whatever. Just be the best slot corner in football, bro. And like again, I know he may not want to hear it.
Convince him to do it.
Yeah, I know he's not going to want to hear it, but the middle of the field is where football is won or lost, and he knows that. Like when our defense is at our best, is when you were in the slot half the season, and then you had Snead on the outside, and y'all were interchangeable. When you have that kind of guy that can literally shut down who your best slot receiver is, whether it be tight end or receiver, that changes your game plan. And we all know Trent's an amazing tackler. He's a great blitzer in Spags defense. I just think having a rotation of Takario, Noel, and Christian to fully play outside, take the pressure off of Spags and Trent to move him around, I think that would change our defense forever. So.
Yeah, I think we all pretty much agree that Noel and Fulton can be starting outside corners. That can be something that works, but I think we all agree that we'd like to add another outside corner.
I like that size.
Regardless of really what happens, because we feel like obviously Trent may be in flux. Maybe we had a safety to be able to go into that slot, whatever's going to happen there. CRW has some depth as far as that's concerned, but you want to be able to add an outside corner to that mix regardless as well. Honestly, if you found the right one in free agency for cheap, I would take a gamble on that too, and then I'd draft another one on day 3 if the right guy came into the picture.
Had a pretty good track record drafting corners out of Washington.
Like the UW guys.
That we do. Let me ask you guys a real quick question before we go to DGs. Do you think it makes it more or less likely to that you can get Trent McDuffie full time in the slot if you pay him?
Can you? Yeah. Will you? Ugh.
No, I'm saying, do you think it makes you more or less likely to have him that he would be willing to go into the slot full?
Oh, which one's more? He sounds like he's a guy that does what he wants to win, DG, but it's money time.
I'm saying, assuming that you pay him, would you think it would make him more or less likely to be open to going into the slot?
I mean, if you pay him, I think whatever Spags wants to do, he'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you pay him top of the market, he'll be willing to probably do whatever you want him to do. But if you're genuinely viewing him as a slot corner, then
he'll probably move on.
Trent McDuffie's probably playing for somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just matchup based. I'm not saying you have to be literally you can never play outside corner because he's not that. He's still a top 10 corner in this league. He can play outside. I just don't want you doing it full time. And I think that's an honest take. If I talk to Trent face to face, I'm not saying you're trash. I think you're one of the best corners in the league. I think you are that versatile to play inside outside. Most corners can't do that. You've been all pro at both sides, so I think you're that good and that important to our defense. We need you to play inside because we don't have a slot defender that we trust full time outside of Christian Roland Wallace. So I think there's a middle ground, like DMac said, it's paying him, but allowing him to be good for our defense in the middle of the field as well. So, and I think he knows that. Like, I could get more money, DG, and leave, but grass ain't always greener. If you leave this building, it's not guaranteed you're going to be competing for playoff spots and trying to compete for championships. But you'll have more money. You will have way more money. But
does he matter? Because you get paid, and you understand why you.
I wouldn't be mad at him. He has 2 Super Bowl rings already on his finger, so I can't be mad at him if he wanted to leave. He's been doing a lot of winning. We've had a dynasty built here for the last 4 or 5 years, and during his tenure, so I would have no upset about if Trent decided to hit the road. So, but if Trent wants to stay, I definitely think we have to have an honest conversation about him playing more in the slot like he did in 23. So I think that's when our defense is at our best, and we want to win. We need you to be here. Kyle Lewis, athletic. Yeah, but I think he's a perfect Spags. Like, he can be the Willie Gay replacement. Just come in, be with speed, be a blitz guy, cover backs, cover tight ends out of the backfield. I love everything about Kyle Lewis, bro. I know he's not his weight is kind of a little light, but if you just want a guy just to be fast, you put him and Jeff next to Nick, we're not complaining about Nick in coverage no more. Not with those 3 guys. So, yeah, it's true like that 2023 all over again.
We'll talk more about the Trent McDuffie of it all next week when I am charged with the Trent McDuffie censured, I should say, aspect of Choose Your Own Offseason as well. Okay, yeah, DG wanted to pull his up.
DG.
Obviously, feels like the best pick that everybody would probably universally agree on as far as that is concerned. Then doubled up at the edge position with TJ Parker, who also had an excellent week at the Senior Bowl to the point where he's getting some smoke as possibly a top.
Fixing the defensive line. We getting
20,
to the quarterback.
We getting set.
It's possibly a top 25 pick. Dale Jackson Jr., obviously out of FSU, another really good defensive line prospect. Malachi Fields, who we talked about a little bit as well. Demon Claiborne, who I've not had a chance to watch, out of Wake Forest running back. Cole Wisniewski, who DG did talk about the safety position, who stood out to him. And then RJ Maryland, tight end out of SMU, who was somebody that I really loved in college football 25. I just haven't had a chance to watch him yet, as well as what he was able to do on tape. I think I like it. Yeah, I like it. I don't think there's anything specific that stands out to me.
Rebuilt the whole D line room. I like that.
Yeah, maybe it's a little, I guess, light on DB, but I think it's fine. I don't know. I think it's definitely a good mock draft. Like, you have Ruben Bain Jr., TJ Parker, and Darrell Jackson Jr.
You ain't worried about getting sacked.
Defensive line room gets significantly better. And prioritizing the defensive line is the thing that ultimately is going to be probably the most difficult to find in free agency, because there's only but so many guys that really can be impacted as far as that aspect. So if you're going to over-index on anything as far as I'm concerned personally, D-line. Absolutely defensive line. That is the number one thing that I would say that you go out there and fix first and foremost. So the other things, you can find weapons in free agency. You can find DBs in free agency. Those things can be fixed as far as money is concerned, but this specifically is going to be very difficult too. So I like it. CJ, you got any comments?
Nope, I like it. Malachi can come in day one, be a contested catch guy, play the X. Obviously, be a learning curve for him, but I think by the end of the season, he can be a weapon for us, especially in the red zone. Like I said, everybody loves Ruben Bain, disruptor, immediate day one impact player. A guy that can play all across the defensive line, inside, outside, him next to Chris. He, again, like I said earlier, TJ Parker and Ruben Bain, Omar Norman are never going to see a double team in their life when you're playing with a guy like Chris Jones in the lineup. So any of the D linemen that we draft are going to be super excited lining up next to 95, especially on third down, playing in front of Arrowhead. So you love rushing the quarterback, you love getting sacks. I think this is the spot to do it. So I know I love everything about Ruben Bain and Darrell Jackson. So TJ Parker, I think he's going to do nothing but make everyone better. Iron sharpens iron. There's nothing more of a inclination that you need to be better at your job and you need to pick it up. From a guy like George Karlaftis standpoint, when you see them draft another guy in your position twice, two doesn't say twice, like you need to. This is a red alert to you. Be better, son, because they're bringing in your replacements literally as you get paid. So no, I love everything about this draft. You get to the quarterback, you give Pat another weapon. I didn't watch. I remember watching Claiborne. I need to watch more of them, but I do remember watching him in Wake Forest's offense. But no, and then RJ Maryland's a blocking tight end for us. But no, everything about those first 5 picks, I love it. DG, good job.
Imagine the message that would send to FAU, let alone George Karlaftis.
Boy.
DG, talk about Claiborne specifically.
Oh, yeah. Claiborne.
Claiborne. I'm adding an R in there. It doesn't exist.
Claiborne, not Claiborne. Like Mo Claiborne.
Claiborne.
No,
Claiborne, yeah.
It's obviously the guy that the Chiefs have already kind of talked to and had discussions with. That's why I went ahead. When he was on the board, I was like, kind of makes sense that if they talk to him, then they like what they see. But yeah, man, a guy who's got, burst out of the backfield, can receive out of the backfield as well. A lot of versatility for them as well. I don't think he's your true day one starter per se, but he would be able, kind of in a similar fashion that Bashard Smith came in. He would be able to provide you with that burst that you need as far as the carries out of the backfield that you would like to see, and not take a dip and decline with the receiving part of what he can bring as well too. So I think he would be a good late day 3 steal for them if they went and picked him up. And I think he could provide a spark for this offense for sure.
All right, fair enough. So that's all we had as far as some mock drafts to review. I did want to quickly put this up. And it may be a little bit difficult to read, but they do have a new kind of GM tool as far as what's the name of it again? It just jumped out of my head again.
Stick to the model, I think it was.
Stick to the model, yes. Stick to the model.
Stick to the model.
Yeah, Stick to the Model has their own. We were not necessarily going to be using this for our Choose Your Own offseason. We have different ways of kind of take care of this, but this is a fun, kind of simplified way to be able to kind of go through your own offseason as well. And I just played around with it and put it on there. They have some contract things that they've tuned up and things of that nature as well. But we can get into that at a different time as well. The next thing that I did mention that the last thing that I we had two things here. One for around the league, just because I found it a little bit interesting. Nick Wright, of course, Kansas City Chiefs fan, did do his famous Mahomes Mountain on FS1 earlier today. And this was quarterbacks going into next season. And this is how he stacked them up with the number one spot currently vacant and Stafford and Mahomes occupying the second one. I'd just ask you kind of the similar way in which they do it at FS1. Do you have anything immediately that sticks out to you as a problem as far as this pyramid is concerned?
Baker Mayfield should be higher.
Really? After that second half of the season?
Yep.
He looked awful the second half.
If he's up there, Bo Nix need to be off of his. I'm taking no disrespect. Baker Mayfield over Bo Nix. Well, that's my coil.
Well, I would
flip Baker. Flip them.
I would, and I understand that the playoffs was an issue, but I'd rather flip Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I was gonna say
than Baker.
I'd put Herbert over.
No, that too. That's what I'm saying. Like that row is the one I'm looking at. Like I'm taking Baker Mayfield and Herbert over Bo Nix. Thank you. I'm taking Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts. Thank you. Hell, I'll take Baker Mayfield over Jalen Hurts.
Having Mendoza on this already is crazy.
That's
well. The funny thing, the not climbing or whatever off the mountain thing. He left the Jets quarterback situation off. He left Shedeur Sanders off. He left Geno Smith off for obvious reasons. He did have Kyler on there. There's other guys that he left off, but obviously some of these guys did not end up making it because it's a question mark as well. The Steelers, I think, because he didn't. Oh yeah, he snuck Rodgers on there at the end. But yeah, those are some of the people that got him. But yes, Mendoza did end up making the last row as well.
It's not much I would change. I mean, I would flip Herbert and Nix.
Flip Herbert Nix for sure. Drake May's not that high yet. He had one good year. Let's calm down. So I would put probably Goff or Dak, whoever you prefer, to take out Drake May for that third level.
Would you leave Caleb and Darnold there?
Again, I keep doubting Sam Darnold, but he just had a great run. I can't keep it. Usually I would say yes, take Darnold down, but I can't say that anymore. So I gotta leave Darnold there.
I don't have no issues with Caleb being there too, just because second year.
Trevor played amazing second half of the year. So
he did so much for that team.
He got MVP votes for it.
Trevor was he was the best quarterback in football the month of December. It was crazy how well he was playing. CJ Stroud has to move down. He was so bad. CJ Stroud was so bad. Oh my God, he was terrible. My biggest quote would be move Baker, Herbert up, move Jalen and Bo Nix down. Move Goff or Dak up for Drake May. Then I'll be cool. Everything else is cool.
I would change probably a lot of things, but nothing too egregious. Just moving guys up and down. I agree with you. Like Herbert, he would have to move up for me, especially over Nix and Hurts.
Absolutely.
I probably still have Daniels over Nix. I definitely have Daniels over Nix. To be perfectly honest with you, I'd still have Herbert, Daniels, Stroud, and Purdy over Nix. And I know Stroud and Purdy may be a little bit of a hot take as far as that's concerned, but I still like them both over Nix.
Before the season, I would have helped you, but the twin looked bad in the playoffs, bro. That was bad.
Even though that he was in MVP conversations, even though that he was in the Super Bowl, how do you guys? I'll just ask you guys this. Well, the other thing I'll mention, I'd still have Mahomes as the best quarterback in the world. I understand why he's vacant. I get it. Torn ACL. He was still top 5 in basically everything, and that was getting no help as far as I was concerned from his surroundings for the majority of the season up until the point in which he got hurt. I think people asked him to return to MVP form in the regular season, and he did in many respects, in my personal opinion, and that's why he was near the top as far as MVP odds for the majority of the season. And ultimately, even though he got hurt, I just think that people aren't giving him enough credit for what he was able to do this season, and the fact that nobody else took advantage of it enough to be able to take it away from him. That's why I still have him at the top. That's just me personally, but that's my Mahomes specific rant. How do you order the 2024 quarterback class now? Caleb, May, Daniels, Nix, and we can leave McCarthy alone, and Penix as well.
Caleb 1, Jaden and Drake. I mean, I prefer Jaden over Drake, but I'll probably put them both tied at 2, then Bo Nix.
Yeah, I agree. But it's like Caleb, Drake. Well, no, I'll go Caleb, Jaden, Drake, Bo Nix.
He said, but yeah, what did you, Bo Nix?
Like
all the way down there.
all the way at the bottom.
All the way. There's
at
a
the
gap between 3 and 4.
I would go with Caleb at 1. And I've never really necessarily moved off of that take. I've always had it that way, obviously, through that pre-draft process. Felt that way even after the rookie year, which Jaden was great. Felt that way after the regular season, which May had himself a really good regular season. Caleb Williams is a guy that I'm betting on long term. Drake May would be number 2, but he'd be slightly over Jaden Daniels, who I thought is still very good, and number 3 for me. But yeah, and then Bo Nix would be number 4 as far as that is concerned. But I think there is something to be said in the duress of the playoffs. And I'm not going to make this about specifically a take because I've had Caleb over Drake May this entire time. But the duress of the playoffs that we saw Drake May not necessarily excel under, I think is a point and a feather in the cap of what you saw from Caleb Williams, because of the ability to avoid those negative plays that Caleb showed a lot this season under duress. And, I think it was really impressive. And I think that's something that he does better than Drake May at this point in his career. That's worth a while mentioning in my personal opinion. But you can argue the surroundings as well.
That's that throw he made versus LA, my goodness, boy. Throw it here.
The throw that he made versus LA, the throw that he made versus the Packers the second time, the throw that he made versus Green Bay the first time.
But that one versus LA, bro. Off his back foot, 50 or 45 yarder on the money, bro. And obviously Cole Kmet helped him out. But the fact to put it there while running back 20, 30 yards is literally like some Mahomes rookie year type throw. So yeah, Caleb was special, bro.
I do want to
still can't believe that throw.
One thing.
Which was crazy.
That kid at the bottom left hand corner.
Mr. Cam Ward.
That kid's gonna be good.
I like Cam Ward.
Go ahead.
I already love the direction that Tennessee is obviously taking. I was a little bit confused at first with the hiring of Robert Saleh, but I do think it is something that they need as far as fixing that defense and things of that nature, and the attitude that he'll bring. But when he went and hired Brian Daboll,
got that guy.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Like
they have work to do as far as the offense is concerned. They've done a good job as far as the position is concerned, getting themselves their bookend tackles. They've worked on the interior of the offensive line as well. They need wide receivers, they need running backs, they need that weapon help. But Cam Ward's numbers last year were not good, but his tape showed those flashes that you really wanted to see as well. And better surroundings than Brian Daboll will help that out as far as that is concerned. And I'll say specifically, when you go back through the tape of the games in which the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks played and that great defense, Cam Ward had one of the best showings versus that Seattle Seahawks defense because of the special plays that he can make out of structure and create things that weren't necessarily there. And that's the tip of the cap.
I know we troll, but did Josh do anything to knock himself off the list? I know we troll and make fun of him, but
no, because
or any of those guys, Josh Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody on that list. Well, I would say there's nobody from on tier 4 or down that would say I want to move ahead of Allen Lamar Burrow.
Yeah.
So I can't say now,
or even like on the same level as them too.
Yeah, I mean, I would have Stafford below those 3 guys even still, but Stafford belongs at least in the top 5 as far as that's concerned. Now, concurrently with that, all 3 of those guys, and Nick Wright said the similar thing, all 3 of those guys got major question marks, and that is different from the question marks that you can say that a guy like Stafford or a guy like Mahomes had, because those guys have been able to win the big game. But this was a massive opportunity for Josh Allen. He had 4 turnovers and send his team home as a result of that. Lamar Jackson missing the playoffs, which isn't necessarily a major Lamar Jackson thing, but it is a reality that he did lose the game, the game to possibly send his team to the playoffs against the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. And then Joe Burrow for the 3rd straight year missed the playoffs. And, you can't blame it on necessarily injury. It's just he missed the playoffs. They didn't necessarily play well enough to do so. So Well, I mean, you can't blame it on injury. He did miss a long time, so that's unfair.
It's both. It's both.
Yeah, but are you going to miss the playoffs a fourth straight year? It's a
like,
question.
What's the reason going to be this year? I mean, this year you were hurt. I'll give you that. Last year you played the whole year.
You went 9-8 and missed the playoffs.
Your defense was awful. You knew that. Maybe you could do more ball control, protect your defense more. Don't try to score so fast as much. Things you can do to protect them. And then this year he just really got hurt. Game 2 of the season? Cooked my fantasy season, you buster. But
hey man, I still made it. I still made it to the.
I made it to the playoff, but not thanks to Joe. Hater.
I still made it to the championship game, and the facts the stats lead even despite losing Joe Burrow for most of the season and taking T. Higgins in that same league.
Boy, I know you was hurting all year.
It was a struggle. But the thing about it is, I took Puka and I took CMC. So they carried the shit out of this. I got Jalen Warren in that league. So it was just I was making the moves necessary to stay alive and was able to get to the championship game. Did not finish the job, unfortunately, but it was able to stay alive enough to do that. So.
I was able to win my championship. Joe came back and saved the day at the end. So, but he definitely cooked me in my big money league. I could have won it with that one, but
yeah.
No, I think this is a decent list. I think next year we'll probably be having more conversations about guys that could take a jump. I think JD, if JD's back healthy, I love everything about Jaden Daniels, especially if they get him another weapon. Herbert, obviously, getting more guys around him to help him be the great arm talent that he is. I think Drake May will probably come back down to earth when they have a better schedule. Caleb could take a bump up. Jared Goff will probably stay the same. Bo Nix will probably go down, in my opinion. Who on the bottom list can make a jump? Who can make a jump? Jackson Dart. I think he can extend blade. Obviously, if he protects himself, stop getting hit like a crash out kid. My goodness. He can move. He can obviously extend plays, move the pocket with his legs and things of that sort. But he has decent arm talent. Can make throws when they need to if they can run the ball. So if anybody on that bottom list, him and Cam could move up next year. Those are the obvious two for me. And
how do you guys feel about Bryce?
He had a better year this year. Ever since he got benched, from that point getting benched to now, he's done nothing but get better. And I think that's all you can ask for him. I always knew he was limited just because of his height, but he showed me something in that LA game. He's not afraid at the moment. When he needs to go down there and move the wall and score, he did. He made a lot of big throws. He owns Atlanta. Every time he plays them, he goes off, or they whoop on one or the other. But from that point of being benched, which was a turning point for his career, to now, he's done nothing but improve. So if they decided to pay him this offseason, I would not be mad at all. Get him for a cheap veteran deal, maybe like 40M, something like that. I think he's gotten better ever since his rookie year from that bench until now. So I'm definitely proud of him for overcoming that adversity because a lot of kids would have folded. He didn't. He got back in the gym, got to work. It's not a big jump, but he's gotten better from that point to now. So
isn't that something crazy that $40 million would be considered a bargain of sorts?
I know, right? 2 years ago we would have never said that.
Right? Ain't that
like 50 is normal now.
Yeah, but shout out to Bryce and what he's been able to
for sure. Shout out to Bryce.
I would pay him like 35-ish would be ideally where he put him. We'll see if he'd be willing to accept that. I don't know. I'll be interested to see where Kyler ends up. I don't think that he's going to be back in Arizona. I think he could easily end up in Minnesota. I don't think that this would happen, but I could see it. I could end up seeing him in.
He needed to play
Jets.
Baseball, bro. I'm dead
serious.
I feel bad. He was a better baseball player, bro. Like,
he was a better. Okay.
Coming out of high school, he was really, really good.
Coming out of high school. Coming out of high school, he was a better.
School, so I can't say it at that point.
But when you go,
I think he needs to find his love for the game again. I just really think in Arizona he's lost his love for the game, and maybe a change of scenery now will produce that or whatever. But I just don't. It's not there in Arizona. I think it's just too much losing. The lack of weapons that they've had over the years, since DeAndre Hopkins has been out of his prime. I just think Kyler's, he got paid and it was just kind of like, all right, this is my job, this is what I do, and that's it. Maybe a change of scenery now will kind of help with that. I do want to speak to Bryce too. Really proud of Bryce, man. I know what it's like to be the short kid in the room, and be doubted a lot or whatever. But man, to come back this year, take all the criticism or whatever, and play the way he played this year, man, I couldn't be more proud. I'm definitely rooting for him. I want him to keep going for sure. Also, what I love, Bryce is such a good guy, man. It's always good to see the guys who have a good spirit, and the good good attitude and things of that nature, especially off the field and things of that. Like it's always good to see them do good. So hopefully it continues for him in Carolina. I definitely think he is their QB1 for the foreseeable future. To this point, I think he proved that this year. And I think the future is obviously bright for him.
Real quick,
they've done a good job building around him too.
Yeah, and continue to. I really like Jalen Coker. The last question I'll say, you mentioned it earlier about those three guys on that row, Allen, Lamar, Burrow. Who do you think, and again, not necessarily projecting who you think is not necessarily going to have the season, but who do you think outside of that list and below of those quarterbacks, who do you think has the best chance of taking one of those guys' spots?
Trevor.
Below you talking about the Darnold, Caleb, May?
Yeah, Caleb, May, Prince, and then below. It could be anybody that's
Caleb
that you're below. Okay.
Caleb. I like Trevor.
It would either be Caleb or Trevor. It's just that I was gonna say that DG, but that month of December, Liam Cohen may have found something. I was like, hey, bro, because I didn't think he could be that good. He was open in December, bro, and it didn't translate to the playoffs. But
I think and I mean maybe you could say this for Caleb too, but I think Trevor's more of his success came from the fact that Liam Cohen came into Jacksonville and was able to kind of help, with the play calling aspect and things that I just think the last couple the play calling for Trevor has been bad, bro. But I think Caleb talent wise, I just think he's better than Trevor. I think that there's just things that Caleb, that throw against LA, bro. That's not
that, but that's the throw of the year, bro.
You probably can put Mahomes
and him,
maybe Allen, and him, maybe can make that throw, bro. But like, there's not too many quarterbacks in this league that can do that. And Caleb's talent is just, I think it's going to exceed even what Ben Johnson does for that team. I thought Ben Johnson did a phenomenal job with play calling this year for them and things of that nature. But
yeah,
Caleb's talent is going to obviously elevate that team going forward. And I just think he's incredible.
No, it'll be interesting to see what they both do next year. I just think Trevor, obviously, we all were waiting for him to be fully unlocked and get to that level that we all saw him play at Clemson. And I think Liam Cohen found something with his legs, because in the red zone, he became essentially Josh Allen, like in the month of December, as far as running the football and getting in the end zone. So if he can use him like that as a weapon, I think he could be very dangerous. And I think that's the thing that could supersede him going up to the next level. Obviously, Caleb's arm talent is all world. He's up there as far as those guys. But if Liam Cohen can cut the turnovers down on Trevor, which he did this year, I think he went like almost a whole month without throwing 2 interceptions. And then obviously he has other guys around him that can make plays, like Brenton Strange, BTJ can get back on track. Jacoby Myers had a hell of a second half for them. Obviously, I expect ETN to get re-signed, come back to the building. I think Trevor found his confidence. He kind of found his swag a little bit. He looked like the guy I saw at Clemson. And I know we kind of make fun of him, calling him a game manager. But if he can find that confidence and start playing a little cocky, I don't know, he kind of has his little quirky game, especially the one he had versus us when he fell on the ground, still ain't over that shit. But I think if he fully unlocks and plays confident up to his potential, as far as not turning the ball over, using his legs, being a weapon in the red zone, that can change a lot of things. We know he's 6'5" and has a big arm. But if he can be accurate and throw it anticipation, I think he has a chance he could do something special, bro. And beginning of the season, I never would have said that. But that month of December really changed my opinion. Because I didn't think he could play that good of football for that long, fellas. He played amazing football for a month. If you can just translate that into 3 months, maybe even 4, I think he has a chance to be on that level for sure. It probably will maybe not be immediately next year, but I think he'll be trending towards that for sure because he's still very young. So,
I think that you guys stole, my favorite 2 answers, Caleb and Trevor Lawrence. I will give you one that maybe will seem underrated or whatever because of the way that people are on. My answer is Dak Prescott. I think that Dak Prescott is in line to have a MVP type of season next year. I think that they will improve the defense with the picks that they currently have as well. I think that they will be very aggressive in making sure that they build this team into being a team that can compete with the Eagles. I think they will smell some blood in the water as far as Philly. I think the Cowboys are going to put themselves in position to win the NFC East, be one of the better teams in the National Football League, and I think Dak is going to have an MVP season as a result of it. They'll keep George Pickens, they'll keep Javonte Williams, they'll push some chips in, and I think Dak has the best chance of being able to get into that top 5 discussion as far as that is concerned. Because I think he's a talented enough quarterback to do so, point blank period, and because I think the surroundings will allow him to do that as well. Hey, that was fun. The last thing that I wanted to say was lay to rest. New England Patriots, you don't deserve to have a championship. You guys have had plenty in your entire year. I'm glad that you didn't get another one. Fuck Boston, and that's pretty much all.
He said,
Yeah.
Boston? Oh, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I look, it was, I ain't even gonna lie, it was kind of weird because I was like, bro, I'm so used to hating the Patriots, but this team was just like, yeah, I don't even hate them like that. Like, so
I mean, I was glad they lost, and
I'm glad they lost.
Called it, but yes.
But appreciate y'all for taking out those donkeys.
Definitely appreciate y'all for that. Appreciate it.
Ultimately, yeah, man, it's just you ran into the better team. Sometimes that happens.
It was a successful hate watch for me.
Yeah,
the Bills lost.
Sure.
Donkeys got embarrassed, and the Patriots lost in the most embarrassing fashion in the Super Bowl. So
I do have
ultimate hate watch complete for me.
I do got somebody we can lay to rest. All those people who told me you weren't going to watch Bad Bunny, you lied.
Oh yes, okay. So I was going to ask you guys about Bad Bunny. I'm glad you said it. You definitely lied because Bad Bunny has the most watched Super Bowl halftime performance of all time. That is no disrespect to Rihanna,
Michael Jackson, Kendrick,
and obviously MJ,
Beyonce,
and Prince.
all of them.
Yeah, I think Prince has the best Super Bowl halftime performance of all time. You're just not going to be when it's raining and you're seeing Purple Rain. That's just me. It's what it is. You're the best. You're the GOAT. Is what it is. Yeah. But shout out to Bad Bunny. I thought that he put on an outstanding performance. I didn't understand 95% of the words of what he said. I didn't need to because the music was great. Beautiful women dancing up there. They had Jessica Alba on stage. I was immediately sold as far as that was concerned. The production was great. That the people in the grass, the symbolism, I would say as well. The fact that I found out afterwards, the light poles, and the fact that when the power goes out in Puerto Rico, they throw a party on the streets and like that because their power grid is unfortunately a little bit inconsistent as far as that is concerned. I thought he did an awesome job. I think he makes great music, makes fun music. The flags at the end, the message of love over hate, of unity in America, no matter where you come from. I thought it was spectacular. Great job by Bad Bunny. The haters are sick. The worst person didn't want to watch that halftime show, and that is ultimately great as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I just would say for the people who were hating, man, like I think we got to get to a point where we understand that everything's not for you, and that's okay. This is one of those halftime shows. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
It looked good though.
Ultimately, like like I said, I understood it's not for me, and I'm proud that all my Latino, Hispanic, brothers and sisters out there, my Boricuas, all y'all, man. I'm happy that y'all enjoyed it. And got your chance and your time to show off your culture and things of that nature. So I'm always proud and happy for that. Especially in this month, which is a very special month for Black people as well too. I just look, man, it's not always for you, dog. So if you want to go watch Kid Rock, go watch Kid Rock on your own streaming platform that wasn't working.
And hey, he didn't leave the Bahamas out. He didn't leave Haiti out. He mentioned them as well. Mm-hmm. There was something as far as Caribbean lineage and heritage that is concerned that is special. And you never know. This is something that's a universal fact. Getting outside of your comfort zone is a great way to grow as a person. You never know what you know until you try something and you give it a chance. So it may not seem like it's for you. It may seem like it's something that is outside of what you think is good for your culture, whatever. You never know until you give it a shot and figure out if you like it or not. So I hope that there were some people that watched that, didn't know anything about Bad Bunny and never I couldn't understand the words as far as that was concerned, and all of a sudden said, "Hey, I actually did enjoy this when I didn't expect it to." There's something about getting out of your comfort zone.
I certainly did.
Leads to growth. Yeah,
I didn't know what to expect. I was just kind of like, I mean, I already, like I said, I went into it mindset like it's not for me. So, but ultimately, I sat back and it was look. I thought it was outside, but the game was boring. That was probably the highlight.
That's the most exciting thing of the night.
The game was boring for sure.
It's the reality of it, man. So yeah, just later rest all the Bad Bunny haters and later rest the Patriots. It's a 2 week gap for you guys. Sayonara, they gave you life. We are on to 2026 as far as the offseason officially beginning in the National Football League. We'll be back with 2 choose your own offseason scenarios next week. Fully integrated as far as cut, trade, free agency, draft, and a lot of conversation as far as that aspect. And we'll be getting into some more combine talk and any news that comes across. In the meantime, appreciate you guys for coming by. Promo real quick, Underdog Fantasy, use code TRUE3, $100 deposit match. College basketball in full swing. Obviously, NBA in full swing. Be careful. Let me be honest, Joe. Just be careful. It's tough in the NBA streets right now.
Boy.
But on the lookout. A lot of stuff. NHL obviously going on as well. And pitchers and catchers reporting this week. Y'all know MLB right around the corner. Looking forward to that real as well. That's yes, sir. Yes, sir. $100 deposit match. You sign up code TRUE3 on Underdog. Appreciate you guys for coming by. Peace out. Go Chiefs.
Jeez.